They've played some close games in recent years here at MetLife, but overall, New England has controlled the series against the Jets. 12-2 in the last 14 meetings. Just a beautiful day, 54 degrees. And Bill Belichick doesn't have to go with the winter wear. He does have the hoodie. Tom Brady and the Patriots is trying to forget about what happened 2 weeks ago, or at least turn the page. Offense didn't function at a high level. The Jets are in a similar situation. They were off last week. Their last game was a 41-10 home loss to Buffalo. 4 straight losses now for the Jets. New England won the toss. They've deferred to the second half. It'll be Andre Roberts, the return man, and Stephen Gostkowski will get things started here in Jersey. That loss for New England snapped a 6-game winning streak. We're underway in East Rutherford. And this one's coming out to the 25-yard line for New York. The Jets have just 2 touchdowns and 26 points in their last 3 games. 10 points, 6 points, and 10 points. Josh McCown trying to change all that for New York.
Yeah, I asked him about what he saw in the Patriots' loss to the Titans. He said 2 tight end formations with inside zone runs and running downhill at New England was effective. He also knows that he'll see a ton of man-to-man coverage in the secondary, and he's challenged his receivers to win those battles.
Evan Washburn mentioned no James Carpenter, so Spencer Long will shift to the left guard spot. It's a handoff. Crowell, nothing there. No gain on the play for New York. So Long has been starting at center, although he was dealing with a finger injury. They're more comfortable with Harrison playing center and Long shifting over in the absence of Carpenter. Robbie Anderson was a question mark for this one. He is in there, didn't play against Buffalo because of an ankle injury. 2nd and 10 for New York. It's Crowell again, and takes a shot from Patrick Chung after he picks up 3. Crowell had that huge game against Denver, a record-setting game, rushing record for Jets in franchise history. 1 game, hasn't done anything since. Defensively for New England, they were not happy with their performance. Marcus Mariota really picked apart the Patriots defense 2 weeks ago. They were held to 284 yards against the Titans. They allowed 385. 3rd and 7 now for New York. Last in the NFL on 3rd downs. McCown from the gun. Steps up. McCown flips it over to Kearse for a 1st down. The sling by McCown, and Kearse with a nice grab for 17 yards on Jonathan Jones. They'll move the chains.
Yes, Smart stepping up into the pocket, and then he finds Kearse in that 1-to-1. Talk about one. Here's a one-handed grab by Kearse. Picks up a huge 1st down, 17 yards on this play, and exactly what the Jets needed. You talked about their 3rd down problems, 28%, obviously last in the NFL.
McCown had 354 yards when these 2 teams met last year, week 6 at MetLife. Off the play fake. Toss to Herndon, and Chung is there once again. Physical play by Chung after a 4-yard pickup through the air. Well, Sam Darnold, that relationship with Josh McCown, they've been very close. Darnold wants to be in there, told us the foot is getting better. He broke his left foot his junior year of high school. That was the first time he ever dealt with any kind of injury adversity, his first major injury. He said it was terrible, but he did learn some things. First of all, he said he got a little chubby. So to work out while you're dealing with the injury, it's important. Elijah McGuire, 1st down run, but a flag down as he crossed the 45-yard line. The Jets have not scored a touchdown on an opening drive this season.
Holding. Offense number 67. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
So it's coming back. Brian Winters on the right side of the line called for the hold.
Now, the other thing about the Darnold injury is that Josh McCown had a similar injury about 10 years ago. He had a Liz Frank injury, which is at the top of the foot, and something that Joey Bosa of the Chargers has been dealing with all season as well.
And McCown told Sam, look, understand the big picture here. The team medical staff is looking long-term on this. The Jets will be at Tennessee next week. McCown on a 2nd and 15. Opening drive. The toss to Crowell, trying to break away, cannot. And gang tackled at the 45-yard line by a combination of Hightower and Jones. 5-yard pickup, 3rd and long now for New York.
And you wonder why guys' hair don't get pulled more often? Well, this is a full grab here.
Whoa.
By Hightower.
And Hightower's got a similar hairstyle.
That's got to hurt, doesn't it?
I'm going to say yes.
You notice he didn't go very far after his hair was grabbed.
I wouldn't know personally, but
me neither.
Instinctually, I would tell you yes. 3rd and 10. McCown, protection holds up, deep ball. McCown airs it out and nobody home. Curse in the general area. Robbie Anderson was streaking down the field.
No, that time the Jets came with a blitz that time. Just 5 in the secondary. And there's 2 Jet receivers in the same area. And McCown airmailed both of them.
So that's 19 straight games where the Jets have not scored a touchdown on their opening drive. Lachlan Edwards, who's been a busy man this year, and Julian Edelman, the return man, standing at the 8-yard line. High punt. Edelman ranges over, but unreturnable as it bounces out of bounds. The Patriots will have the football when we come back. No score. Pats and Jets on CBS. Tom Brady leading this New England offense. 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions this season. New England has been tremendous. After losses of double digits or more, they usually bounce back. Michel gets the call for a 7-yard gain for New England. Now you see what Brady and the Patriots have done throughout his career. And Tom Brady has feasted in divisional matchups in general.
He's feasted in general throughout his entire career, although he only has 17 touchdown passes this season, and that's the same amount of touchdown passes the Jets have allowed.
2nd and 3. James White driving, trying to pick up that extra yard for the first down. He'll be held short by about a yard. Henry Anderson in on the stop. Starting offense for New England, Shaq Mason is back. He missed the last 2 games with a calf injury. Bill Belichick says that he makes a big difference on that right side. And of course, the return of Rob Gronkowski. We had a chance to sit down with him last night. He said everything feels normal, no limitations. Of course, he'll go out on some plays. On a give, Michel runs into a wall, and it's right at the line to gain. Jamal Adams over there for New York.
You see the official came in with a very positive mark for the Patriots. But Jamal Adams coming on the blitz there. A good job up front, but not enough to keep Michel from picking up the first down, barely. Yellow line is not official. This is the play before.
So, it's a first down for New England. Early stages, first quarter, first possession for the Patriots. Edelman, the motion man, Brady to throw it. Fires to Edelman. Lot of room to go. Julian Edelman goes airborne, and he's down at the 40, hit by Darryl Roberts. 36 yards on the catch and run for New England.
Now, man-to-man in the coverage by the Jets. And Brady with time to throw the crossing route as he gets behind Morris Claiborne. There's the big hit by Roberts. Season long, 36 yards for Edelman. Jets are trying to they had a chance to keep the Patriots deep in their own end, but 4 plays, they're out across the midfield line.
Edelman injured his foot against Tennessee 2 weeks ago. It's a give to Michel. Tried a zigzag move and held to no gain on the play. Defensively for the Patriots, come in ranked 24th overall in team defense. They are 15th in scoring defense. The Jets defensively, Leonard Williams, they're looking for more sack numbers right now. And the linebacking core has been very solid. Tom Brady had high praise for them. In the secondary, no Marcus May, and it looks like they're going with 4 corners mostly. Brady. And that's a bounce in the direction of Josh Gordon. Saw a number of those against Tennessee a couple of weeks ago when they got pressure up the middle. That was a huge key for the Titans, and Nathan Shepard provided some heat.
Now, Brady's only been sacked 16 times this year. This is part of the reason why. Feels the pressure. Didn't see anything open in the zone coverage that time by the Jets, and he bounced that one on purpose.
And Dan, a huge early play here defensively for New York. They come out in the nickel. The Patriots facing a 3rd and 10. Brady, plenty of time. Brady fires. Gronk can't hold on to it. Incomplete. And the Jets hold up defensively. Jamal Adams.
Yeah, Brady's a little bit late with this pass. As Gronkowski comes out of his break, he has about an 8-yard cushion there. Ball comes late, slightly behind Gronkowski, and Adams puts his helmet right on the football.
When we asked Adams about going against Gronkowski, he said, look, I'm excited. You want to play against elite players. He's still great. He's the best of the best. So the Patriots forced the punt with Ryan Allen. Trying to place this one inside the 5, nearly does. Slater got down the field, couldn't track it down. It's coming out to the 20-yard line. A 40-yard punt and no score in Jersey.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Progressive Insurance, handing off big savings to you. Garmin. Get a Garmin smartwatch and beat yesterday. And by McDonald's new Classic Meal Deal at participating McDonald's.
McCown and Brady, second highest combined age for starting quarterbacks after Testaverde and Favre in 2007. McCown, deep drop on first down. He tosses to the outside. It's Herndon again. And the rookie out of Miami has a first down. Let's check in with Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, that's a good sign that Josh McCown was able to sling that pass there, because he suffered a small laceration on the tip of his right thumb on his throwing hand in the previous series. They're working for a while to stop the bleeding. He's got a little bit of tape over that cut. As you can see, some blood on that towel. He felt the attack of the ball. He seems to be fighting through it, but something to keep an eye on there as this game progresses.
And the backup is Davis Webb, who was promoted from the practice squad for the previous game. Nothing there for Elijah McGuire as he's met by Kyle Van Noy. In fact, a loss of 2 for New York.
And McCown looked good on that pass to Herndon. But you always got to be concerned.
Now Rob Gronkowski, welcome back. And get some oxygen.
I think Jamal Adams may have knocked a little oxygen out of him with that big hit.
2nd and 12 here for New York. McCown is 4 out of 5 for 45 yards. McCown hurls it to Crowell. Breaks a tackle. Crowell with the cut. And he's spun down inside the 45 of New England by Patrick Chung.
You expect your running back in space one-on-one to make the first guy miss. Landon Roberts comes up here. Good move to the inside, a little stiff arm to get around the corner and room along the sidelines to get that first down and pick up 19 yards and into Pat's territory.
Line of scrimmage is the 44 of New England. Play action. McCown will run it. Not a big hole, but he takes it up the field for 3. Lawrence Guy wraps him up.
He's looking for a quick hitter to Chris Herndon, his tight end. Herndon well covered. No other receiver on that side of the formation. Smart play by McCown not to force it.
Dan, the Jets have scored first just twice this season against Cleveland and against Indianapolis.
Watch game, John.
2nd and 7 now for New York. From the gun. Rush coming. They handle it. McCown floats it upstairs, looking for Curse. Incomplete. Jason McCourty sticking with Jermaine Curse. A battle of veterans there.
He got a little tug on the jersey there at the very end, but the ball well overthrown. But the offensive line is doing a pretty good job so far keeping McCown upright and allowing him to pick out his receivers.
Now playing from behind, that's been an issue for the Jets. Minus 35 in the first quarter this season, worst in the NFL. They go with Kearse, Anderson, Andy Nunwa lined up on the same side. McCown hangs in there, throws to Kearse, and he's tossed down by McCourty. Flag is down.
And we may get roughing the passer against Dietrich Wise.
Sean
Personal
Hockley.
foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 91. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play. First down, New York.
This crew has called the most penalties in the NFL per game this season, the most holding calls, the most pass interference calls, and this is roughing the passer. Oh,
Hey.
down low.
Yeah, down low. We've almost forgotten about that penalty. Usually we're talking about the quarterback taking hits to the head and being landed on by a defender, but that down low penalty obviously started in the Tom Brady injury way back when he got hit on the knee.
That was against Kansas City. Dietrich Wise called on the penalty, sets the Jets up with a first down. Herndon the catch, and the Patriots are ready for it. Landon Roberts sniffs it out. Loss of 1 for New York.
Roberts missed the tackle on Crowell earlier in the drive, but he's not going to miss this one. And Herndon doesn't really do anything to get away from him. The stiff arm comes late, and there's no moves, and it's a good, solid tackle by Roberts.
They'll go with 2 tight ends in this formation. Single setback is McGuire. 8th play of the drive for New York. Toss it. McGuire with the cut. Nice acceleration by McGuire. He's ridden down by McCourty and Chung for New England. Brings up 3rd down for New York.
That's a good job by the left side of the offensive line. Remember, Spencer Long has moved to left guard. Jonathan Harrison at center. And behind Beecham and the tight end Herndon there. Solid run that time for McGuire.
4-game losing streak for New York. Jeremy Bates, the offensive coordinator, trying to figure out a way to generate offense. It's a quick snap on a 3rd and 3. McCown looking. McCown. A strike. Jermaine Kearse extends for the touchdown. The Jets are on the board first.
A great job by McCown buying time in the pocket and waiting out Kearse on this crossing route. He gets across the face that time of Harmon and Jones rather. And McCown, faith in his offensive line. Beautiful 80-yard drive in 9 plays.
The 3rd oldest quarterback in the league behind Tom Brady and Drew Brees. It's Josh McCown, and he's led the Jets down the field with a touchdown toss to Kearse. Extra point, Jason Myers. 9 plays, 80 yards, and a flag thrown. 2 of them, in fact. So currently 6-0, waiting for that extra point to go on the board.
If this is against the Patriots, the Jets can refuse the 1 point, put the ball at
Personal
the
foul.
2-yard line,
Unnecessary
get half
contact
the
to the
distance
snapper.
to the 1
Number
and go for 2.
71 defense. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. The try is good. Timeout.
It's on Danny Shelton. They'll take the point, and they'll take a 7-0 lead. McCown on the money to Kearse. Jets in front. We talked to Jermaine Kearse this week about the struggles the team has been going through. He said, look, first thing you have to make a choice. Do you accept what's happening, or do you want to do something about it? He said, I believe this group wants to do something about it. After the penalty, the Jets still kick it to the end zone. So it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense why you take the penalty there. The penalty took place on the extra point, Dan.
Yeah, you can't can the center. Here's Hennessy. Now you've got Shelton, you got Guy, and you've got Chung all coming right up the middle, trying to send a message here to the Jets long snapper. And he did a good job of getting it down and through the uprights.
And the
But
Jets
that kickoff is ridiculous.
Yeah,
You got it.
they elect to kick it to the end zone anyway instead of trying to pin the Patriots deep in their own territory. New England will have it at the 25-yard line. Brady operating from the gun. Brady going through his reads and makes the right decision. It's Gordon driving across the 45. Darryl Roberts and Avery Williamson there defensively.
Gordon is such an inviting target at 6'3", and with a catch radius where he can catch the ball away from his body without losing momentum, right in stride. And after that poor decision on the kickoff, 23 yards, and on that play, the Pats are out to midfield.
Jets have their first lead since week 6 against Indy. Brady. Open man. And guess who? Chris Hogan has not had a catch in the last couple of games, has only been targeted 3 times, and he makes that grab against Tremaine Johnson of New York.
Well, it's a crossing route, and it's zone coverage here. As you can see, the void in the secondary, nobody in the picture until after Hogan makes his first catch in a long time. A 20-yarder after the 23-yarder to Gordon.
Josh McDaniels, 18th year with New England. The chemistry between him and Tom Brady, it's evident. First down for the Patriots. James White squeezing through a hole for 4 yards, brought down by Jamal Adams. So Patriots coming off that 34-10 loss in Tennessee week 10. It's a 24-point differential. You look back, the bounce back effect after 20-plus point losses since 2000, since Bill Belichick took over. They are 10-1. They average just under 33 points per game, and a turnover differential of plus 21 in those 11 games. Jordan Jenkins was shaken up on that play. He heads to the Jets sideline. 2nd and 6. They give it to Patterson. Trying to get to the corner. Patterson is cut off. He thought he had the angle, looking to loop it around, but Jamal Adams ranging over to make the play. It's a 4-yard pickup for Patterson.
Yeah, they're trying to take advantage of the speed of Patterson with this jet sweep, but watch the jet. Jamal Adams just figure out how to get through that interference and keep Patterson from picking up the first down. Adams has been all over the field this first quarter.
With Jenkins on the sideline, Brandon Copeland replaced him. Frankie Louvu also in for New York on a 3rd and 2 for New England. Brady, timing route down the sideline. It's through the hands of Edelman. Incomplete. Penalty marker thrown at the 19-yard line.
And maybe a pass interference against the Patriots. A pick to get Edelman free down the sideline.
Pass interference. Offense, number 28. 10-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
Watch James White, 28, come down here, and he's going to make contact there with Claiborne. But I wonder if Edelman lost this ball in the sun because it hit him right in the hands. Would have come back anyway because of the pick play by White.
So the Jets make a decision here. It could have been 4th and 2 for New England or 3rd and 12. They elect to go with the 3rd and 12. They give Brady another chance. He'll operate out of the gun. White will flank him, shifting from the outside. 3rd and long for New England. Deep drop, Brady, deep ball, looking for Gronkowski. He's got it! Touchdown, Patriots! Gronk is back.
Watch Gronkowski right down the middle of the field, splitting the 2 deep coverage. Claiborne late coming over. Beautiful throw by Brady under pressure, coming right up the gut. He absorbs the big hit. Trying to find out if Gronk caught it. Yes, he did. Taking the ball away from Claiborne in the end zone. Just his 2nd TD catch all season.
Now look, you don't know what the Patriots would have done on 4th and 2. They may have gone for it on 4th and 2, but the reality is the Jets made the decision to make it 3rd and 12. They would have forced New England into a decision. The Patriots take advantage with a deep one to Gronkowski. Extra point is good. We are knotted up at 7 apiece.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Snickers. You're off your game when you're hungry. Eat a Snickers. And by the Spark Cash Card from Capital One.
Rob Gronkowski, his first touchdown since week 1 against Houston. 6-game drought. That's the longest of his career.
Oxygen must be working.
Yep, no, he's banging on it. I don't think it was working right at that moment. Kickoff from Gostkowski. Would have been a 42-yard field goal attempt if the Patriots decided to kick the field goal, or it would have been 4th and 2. Roberts, the return man, trying to get to the outside. Roberts hit from behind as he slides to the 35-yard line.
And we'll go back to the touchdown. It's an interesting cover two here. Here's Gronkowski. He's going to go right down the middle, but keep your eye on the safety, Adams. He comes up, and that forces Claiborne to take the middle of the field, but he has such a long way to go to make a play on this ball. Just a half a second late.
So the Jets had a lead, short-lived. New England comes down the field, gets the equalizer. Now the Jets have it with a 1st and 10, just short of the 35. Play fake. McCown, protection is there. McCown puts it exactly where it needs to be to Enunwa. McCown on a dime, working against Gilmore for 17.
Now this could be a big day for the Jets receivers and Josh McCown. If McCown continues to have this type of protection. Patriots only have 15 sacks all season, and right now they are not getting anywhere near McCown as he's 9 out of 11 for 99 yards.
On a 1st down from midfield, McCown will toss it again. This time it's underneath. He's been feeding it to Herndon, and that covers 4 yards. So McCown is 39 years old. Brady is 41 years old. AARP is monitoring this game.
Excuse me?
That was not intended for you.
I've got my card. You'll get yours too pretty soon, I understand.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
You can't turn it down.
Clock ticking away here at the end of the quarter. And the second quarter is coming up.
February, huh?
Yeah, maybe in February. Second week. It's a big one.
Biggest.
The Jets and the Patriots tied at 7 apiece after 1 on CBS. So between the two, McCown 16 years in the NFL, Brady 19 years. It's a whole lot of NFL experience. Toss it to Crowell. And rumbles to the outside. A little bit short, 4.5-yard gain. So it's Testaverde and Favre. That's the most years combined. Testaverde and Warner now 3rd place. Warren Moon and John Elway in 98. Combined 80 years and 67 days old. Brady and McCown now qualify as number 2 on that list.
McCown looks like a totally different quarterback than against the Bills. Getting good pass protection. He's on target despite that thumb injury.
Well, McCown, when we asked him about that Buffalo game, he said, look, it can go in a couple of different directions. Matt Barkley was a good example of that, the way he played. McCown airing it out, and that one's way over the head of Curse. When you step in there, sometimes you can ride that wave. And McCown, this is his 2nd game under center, replacing Sam Darnold.
Well, the Patriots' best pass rusher is Flowers, but they're going to bring Chung as well on this side. McCown doesn't see him because he's looking left, and he takes a real shot from Flowers.
That ball sailed on him, and then the Jets have to punt it on 4th and 3.
Interesting play selection there on 3rd and short to go for the long pass.
Edwards trying to pinpoint a spot inside the 10. The ball bounces, and the Jets will down it. New England will have it deep in its own territory after the punt from Locke Edwards. We'll come back in 30 seconds after this from Walmart. Patriots have it at the 10-yard line. They're tied at 7, just underway here in the second. Brady to the sideline. Dorsett gets drilled after the catch by Tremaine Johnson. It's a 3-yard pickup through the air. We check in with Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, you've seen Rob Gronkowski guzzling oxygen. It's important to note he is not on any sort of pitch count, but they are aware that he hasn't played in a game in a while. And also, they're down to just 2 tight ends. Dwayne Allen not here because of that knee injury. So it's a massage of how much they want to play him, but also get him some rest.
Is this baseball?
I don't think so with although Gronkowski could probably bring the heat pretty good.
He could. Pitch count. It works. Just one of those terms.
That's a play count, actually.
Well, for you.
Yeah.
For you. For us, it's a pitch count.
All right.
Brady pats the ball. On time to Gronkowski. He's brought down by Darren Lee, who's been much better in coverage this year compared to his first couple of years in the league. But that one covers 15 yards for New England.
So a pair of perfect pitches by Brady to Gronkowski for 49 yards here. But there he gives Lee a fistful, but Lee fights through it to make the tackle.
Nice slider from Brady. And that'll end that segment.
Hopefully.
First down. Open space for Michel. Flag is down at the 34 as Michel danced to the 45-yard line of New York. Hit by Darryl Roberts. 25-yard run. Is it coming back? 3 penalties against New England.
Offense,
and that's number 4.
77. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
It is big Trent Brown called on the penalty.
Well, here he is here, and he's going to hold Frankie Lavu and negate a huge gain by Michel. Good play by Lavu at 6'3", getting underneath the giant 6'8", 380-pound Trent Brown.
Trent Brown is the biggest man on the field. There was a guy bigger than him pregame on the sideline.
Well, height-wise, maybe.
Joel Embiid of the
Man.
Philadelphia 76ers. They're in town to take on the Brooklyn Nets tonight.
He'd be a pretty good tight end, wouldn't he?
You think so? You'd like to throw to that target in the red zone?
Every zone.
On first down, Brady. Play action. Another strong toss to Gordon, who spun down across the 35-yard line. And we talked to Bill Belichick about Gordon and whether or not he's up to speed on the playbook. He said, yeah, he's completely up to speed. Now it's about consistent execution from Gordon. Belichick said he picks things up quickly, but the little nuances take time.
And we had no practice in, obviously, in the spring or the OTAs or in training camp with Brady. But they're getting closer and closer to being in sync. Brady actually looks pretty good on that sore knee, too, doesn't he?
He does. No effects so far as there is a jump. Patterson came in motion.
Yeah, Gronk moved.
Ball start. Offense, number 10. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Yeah, they give it to Gordon, but Gronk was in the area as well. And we asked Gronkowski how he can help the team, just his presence. And he said, I think I can make a difference in the run game. And that sets up the play action, then he can benefit from that. But it's one of the forgotten parts of the equation that Gronk is such a big guy and is a good blocker.
Yeah, in the run game, when he can block the play action, that pulls linebackers up, and that opens up space over the middle for the tight end.
2nd and 7 now for New England. Handoff, off the stutter step. James White with another flag throw. We mentioned this crew has called the most penalties per game this season. Brady likes to get in on those meetings, and he has indicated against New York.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense, number 97. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. Automatic. First down.
It's the rookie from Fort Hays State, Division II, Nathan Shepard.
Yeah, he's going to put his left hand right in the face of center David Andrews and just bend Andrews' head way back. Dangerous play by Shepard.
And easily spotted by the officials. Sets New England up with a first down at the 40. Sonny Michel. 3-yard gain for Michel. He's healthy again, and Tom Brady believes that could make a big difference going forward. The fact that they can use him the way they want to use him, and that he believes Michel is ready to contribute again like he was during that win streak.
Well, and to get Gordon on the field and Edelman and Michel and Gronkowski all together gives Brady obviously a lot of confidence, but it's been so rare this season because of different issues.
175 yards of offense for New England already. We approach 10 minutes to go in this first half. Brady, deep drop, plenty of time, and he throws it to Michel, who's brought down by Avery Williamson, short of the marker. 4 yards. Brady to Michel.
But if the Jets continue to try to go man-to-man on James White with a linebacker, White's going to have a big afternoon. Good tackle that time by Williamson, but a little bit late in preventing the completion.
So working in Michelle, working in White in the passing game. Brady will spread it around. It's White in there now on a 3rd and 3. Leads all running backs in receptions this season and targets. Brady, toss it. White gets to the outside with a flag down. Trent Brown on the outside for New England, creating extra space for White.
Yeah, by holding. You can see the wry smile there on Brown's face.
Yeah, this is a long conference here for the officials. Young Sean Hockley will make the call. Both teams have already retreated.
There were 2 fouls by the offense on the play. Holding, number 77. That penalty's declined. Personal foul, chop block, number 60. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced. Replay, 3rd down.
So they turn down the Trent Brown penalty. They accept the David Andrews chop block.
Well, that's 15 as opposed to 10. Here is Brown, and here's Andrews. There's the chop block as you cannot block on a man who's being blocked by another man up high. Steve McClendon takes that shot in the lower legs from Andrews.
And Dan, for Bill Belichick's squad, their high for penalty yards this season was 64. They already have 70 in the first half. Brady, a little too high for White on a 3rd and 18. The Jets defense holds. New England will punt.
Boy, the ball comes in too high and glances off White's hands and almost intercepted. And if this ball's picked off, it might go the distance. Claiborne had his eyes on it, but the ball with so much heat on it, he couldn't react quickly enough.
It'll be Ryan Allen with Joe Cardona snapping it. Return man is Andre Roberts. Sailing kick. Roberts catches along the perimeter, and momentum carries him out of bounds. Jets will take over in a 7-7 game after the 52-yard punt from Allen. Well, it looked like Brady was going to start carving up the Jets, but the defense has come through for New York, and they take over on offense with a flag down. 6 penalties against New England, 2 against the Jets.
False start. Offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
That is Kelvin Beachum, 3rd penalty against the Jets.
That was a good start for Josh McCown today. That one-handed catch by Kearse got him started. Perfect timing to Enunwa on the out route, and then buying time and keeping his eyes down the field for Kearse for the score. As the Jets get into the end zone and took an early 7-0 lead.
4 straight divisional losses for New York. Their last win in the AFC East, November 2nd of last year against Buffalo. More penalties.
Wow.
Before the snap, false start. Offense, number 11. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
It's Robbie Anderson. Even Sean Hockley had a tone in his voice like, before the snap. It happened again.
Well, he's got a lot of airtime this year. As you said, his crew has got most penalties of all the crews in the NFL. They're off to a big start today.
I think Sean joined the union. SAG-AFTRA.
10 penalties already for both teams.
Under 9 minutes to go now in this first half. Bootleg. McCown looks. Nice fake. McCown, the ball glances off the intended receiver. Leggett. Incomplete. Pressure from Hightower as McCown got rid of it.
As an opportunity for Leggett to bail out his quarterback here, but the pressure from Hightower, who's still looking for his first sack of the season. McCown wanted to throw the deep out to Robbie Anderson. And Leggett couldn't pull it in.
2nd and long for New York. Motion man Enunwa. Fake the handoff to Crowell. Throw it underneath to Enunwa. And it gives the Jets a little breathing room, 7 yards. Patrick Chung with the tackle. So third down for New York. Tied at 7, 8:34 to play, second quarter.
This is where Josh says he's got to be careful with the ball. Don't force it. You don't need a turnover here, obviously.
It's been feast or famine for the Jets this season. They're averaging 41 points per game in their wins, 12 points per game in their losses. Third and 13. McCown, nice hands, Enunwa, but not nearly enough for the first down. Jonathan Jones, the first man there to greet Enunwa after the catch, and the Jets go 3 and out.
Yeah, smart choice defensively for the Patriots. With all that yardage to gain for the first down, just go back into your zones and let McCown throw a short one, then collapse on the receiver.
So Lachlan Edwards, another punt. Julian Edelman standing at his own 26-yard line. The back-to-back penalties to open the drive really hurt New York. Edwards, spiraling kick, contact at the 30 as Edelman made the catch. And on special teams, Sharon Peake getting down the field in a hurry. 48-yard punt, no return. We're at a 7-7 standstill in New Jersey.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Corona Extra. Find your beach. United States Air Force. Experience more at airforce.com. And by Hyundai, official sponsor of the NFL.
Back here at MetLife, Patriots take over with a 1st and 10 at the New England 30-yard line. Motion man Patterson. It's a handoff to Sony Michel. Gets to the outside for a first down run across the 40-yard line. Nice rip as Darryl Roberts met him there. Tom Brady has so many records already. You don't have to create any for him. But again, if you're keeping score at home, including regular season and playoffs, Tom Brady #1 in all-time passing yards.
Yeah, that's remarkable. And when you include the playoffs, obviously he has had a few more chances.
Yeah,
because of his success with the Patriots.
Pitch it to Michel. Flag is down. And Michel with another strong run with a penalty marker thrown at the 42. Roberts again over there for New York. Michel just shrugged his shoulders, realizing that the 15-yard run could be nullified.
I think they're going to get Patterson for holding. And again, it was on Frankie Lavu.
Illegal motion, offense number 84. 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
So back it up on Cordarrelle Patterson, the guilty party. Brady is 8 of 11, 151 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, he's dealt it to 6 different receivers. Edelman just has 1 catch. Gronkowski obviously has been the favorite target with a pair, but nothing out of the running game so far for the Patriots.
Patriots have already tied a season high in penalties. 1st and 15 for New England. Short toss to White. Jets were ready for it as White takes that ball to the 42-yard line, hit by Steve McClendon, 5-yard gain through the air. So second down for New England. We approach 6 minutes to go in this second quarter.
The Patriots are going to go with later in Waddle coming in as an extra offensive lineman.
Patriots 5-0 at home, but they are 2-3 on the road. The blowout losses to Detroit and Tennessee on the resume. Brady to the sideline. Great concentration by Edelman. Clean catch for a first down into New York territory after the gain of 11. And Brady got hit by Luvu on the play.
Boy, did he ever. As Waddle comes in and cannot block Luvu. But look at this throw under that type of pressure. And the toe tap by Edelman. Doesn't get much better than that, but that is a big hit on Brady as his ribs were exposed to the shoulder of Lavu. Left foot, the toe tap on the right. Beautiful.
White in the backfield. Brady on first down. Downfield. Edelman can't secure it, and he's grabbing the right side after the incompletion. Jamal Adams there defensively for New York. He takes a beating, Julian Edelman, game in, game out.
Well, he has so many catches over the middle where he takes shots like this. And he landed right on his right elbow, and that could affect his shoulder as well. Watch the right arm here. His shoulder and elbow take the brunt of this big hit by Adams.
He stays in, though. Edelman, a tough guy, 2nd and 10. Play fake, nice hands by Gordon. First down grab inside the 35 of New York. Again, it's Darryl Roberts, 13 yards on the hookup for New England.
A good route here by Gordon. Again, he's got the big body, gets inside of Trumaine Johnson easily. The play fake gives Brady a clear throwing lane, and it's another first down. Ball slightly touched here.
Yeah, it was Henry Anderson who just tipped it, but Brady had enough mustard on it. First down for New England. On the move, Michel. Brought down as he crosses the 30. 5-yard pickup going right up the gut for Sony Michel. Darren Lee will get credit for the tackle.
Pretty good example on this drive of the pass setting up the run. Brady getting rid of the ball quickly, and now that offensive line gaining some momentum up front, and the running game starting to be more effective for Josh McDaniels.
2nd and 5 from the 29 of New York. We hit 4 minutes to play, first half. Keep it on the ground. Michel, the spin move. Sony Michel has enough for a first down. Morris Claiborne helping in run support. 7-yard gain. Good block from James Devlin, the fullback for New England.
Well, let's check out Devlin. He's on the wing right here behind Gronkowski as the ball's going to come to this side. He takes out Leonard Williams with that good block. And Brandon Copeland with an arm tackle doesn't work on Sony Michel.
So Gronkowski will get a breather here on 1st and 10 at the New York 22.
And they want to give him a breather before they get to the red zone.
Patriots are averaging 20.6 points per game on the road, more than 35 at home. The delay by White. It took a little while to get that play going, but James White turns it upfield for a pickup of 6 for the Patriots.
Joe Thuney with a key block that time on the draw play, and real good patience by White.
When we asked Bill Belichick about that Tennessee performance, he just said, look, we have to be more consistent. We look at the 10 games as a whole, but specifically with the Titans, the team didn't do anything well. Literally everything went wrong. 9th play of the drive for New England. 2nd and 4. Brady sets. Brady throws. End zone. Broken up. Gronkowski, the intended receiver. Jamal Adams there with him.
And it looked like Adams knew exactly what Gronkowski was going to do and where Brady was going to throw the ball. Look at this coverage here. He's in better position to make that interception. The play by Gronkowski prevents it with the left hand.
It was Gronk who knocked it away from Adams. Third and 4.
Got a single receiver out here. The Jets saw that. Devlin all by himself, and they called timeout from the sidelines.
Jets had 12 men on the field. We'll come back in 30 seconds after this from Lowe's. There was definitely some confusion on the Jets side. They called the timeout. New England facing a 3rd and 4 with 2:34 to go, second quarter.
A lot of options here for Brady. Obviously, Gronkowski's a big one, but I'm not so sure about Edelman. Remember, he was injured earlier in this drive. He's going to line up in the slot on the same side with Gronkowski.
Shotgun. Brady looking for the lead. Brady lofts it. Incomplete. Gronkowski against Adams again. They basically tried the same play.
Well, by putting Edelman on the same side, they guarantee they're going to get single coverage out here with Adams. But Adams absolutely perfect on that coverage. A little bit of contact there that the officials let go. Pressure by Jenkins may have forced that ball to be way off target.
So 34-yard field goal attempt here for Gostkowski to give New England the lead. Placement. And straight through the uprights. Patriots go in front 10-7 on the Jets. 2:27 to go, first half. Working on the right thumb of Tom Brady. McCown with an injury himself. And they've dealt with it. Also working on Julian Edelman. Remember, he came in with a foot issue. Patriots lead it after the field goal by Gostkowski. He kicks it off. Andre Roberts deep. This is returnable. Roberts veers to the outside, and he is stood out short of the 20-yard line. That's where the Jets will take over, crossing the play on special teams. On Tuesday, for the 25th consecutive year at Thanksgiving, the New England Patriots provided 220 complete Thanksgiving meals to families in need. Also on Tuesday, the Jets and Berkeley College student volunteers teamed up to serve food to over 400 New Yorkers who did not have access to a Thanksgiving meal this year. Both teams heavily involved in their respective communities. Hope you and yours had a good Thanksgiving. As the football continues here, week 12 in the NFL. Jets trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. McCown. Play fake. Wide open. Enunwa. Forced out of bounds. McCourty had the assignment.
Now the Patriots are going to come with the blitz. That means man-to-man in the secondary. And Enunwa runs away from Jason McCourty. McCown right on target. A huge way to start this drive at the end of the first half.
2-minute warning after the 41-yard catch and run.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Walmart. Light up Christmas at Walmart. And by Subway. Make it what you want.
Patriots owner Robert Kraft, team president Jonathan Kraft, 9 straight AFC East titles for New England, playoffs in 14 of the last 15 years. Right now they have a 10-7 lead on the Jets, but New York threatening with a 1st and 10 in New England territory. Under 2 minutes to go. McCown lets it fly deep. Picked off. Stephon Gilmore with the INT. And the Patriots take over.
The pressure on McCown is going to force this early throw, and he doesn't get enough on it. You can see the pocket collapse on him. Flowers hits him right around the waist. Ball comes up. Great read by Gilmore. His second pick of the season, as he just steps right in front of Robbie Anderson.
Gilmore had the box out on Anderson. Simon also put some pressure on McCown. Let's check in with Evan Washburn.
Well, and you guys saw that picture of Tom Brady's right thumb. It was bloody. They were able to stop the bleeding with an ointment. Has just a Band-Aid on there, so looks to be okay. Also, Edelman, he worked through that right elbow injury, shaking it out. He has had no treatment since, guys.
All right, thanks very much, Evan. Handoff to Michelle. Patriots take over at their own 2-yard line, and no gain on the play. 1:46 remaining in the first half. Timeout taken. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cowher, the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. 1 timeout left for New York. 1:48 on the clock.
I like that use of that timeout, though. Backed up as the Patriots are, that puts pressure on this offense. If they throw the ball, they've got to be careful of getting a holding penalty in the end zone. That would result in a safety.
2nd and 10 for New England. Hogan, the motion man. Keep it on the ground. Michel bounces off a tackle. Michel cuts to the outside, and he's hit by Jamal Adams down low. It'll be 3rd down for the Pats.
He broke the tackle of Henry Anderson right at the line of scrimmage. Anderson goes about 300 pounds, and good job by Michel keeping his balance, getting around the corner.
And the Jets have called their final timeout. They place the football at the 8. It'll be 3rd and 4. Remember, New England will get the ball to start the second half after winning the toss and deferring. Third down and 4 for the Patriots. Give it to Michel. Tried to slice through and could not break that wall. Darren Lee among those there for New York. It's 4th down.
Remember, the Jets wasted a timeout the last time the Patriots had the ball, so unable to stop the clock here, but should get real decent field position for McCown in this offense.
Andre Roberts will set up camp at the 41-yard line of New York. Ryan Allen comes in averaging 46.3 yards per punt. Using as much clock as possible. Under a minute to go now in the first half. Allen gets it off cleanly and will work that sideline. The question will be where the official deems it out of bounds for New York to take over. Coming up, Verizon halftime report. JB and the rest of the gang, scores and highlights around the NFL. It's all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. So the Jets will have it at the 43-yard line. 47-yard kick for Allen.
Yeah, no win today here at MetLife. 56 yards is the longest for Jason Myers this season. He does have a career 58-yarder.
So looking at about 20 yards to get Myers into range. And whistle stops play.
First charge timeout. New England. 30-second timeout.
New England uses a timeout with 51 seconds left.
You know, when you consider that they just need 20 yards or so to get in comfortable range, they can work the entire field with as much time as they have.
Jason Myers, 4 of 4 on field goals of 55 yards or more.
Remember, he made 7 in one game against Indianapolis, 7 out of 7.
With that turnover, the Jets are now a -8 in turnover differential this season, towards the bottom of the rankings, of course, in the NFL. Play clock is down to 1. McCown gets rid of it, and a drop. He tried to hit McGuire in stride.
I think the Jets got away with one. That was 0 on the clock before the ball was snapped, but this is a 0 play by McGuire. As he makes this catch, he might split those two defenders.
And that might have been enough to get the Jets into Myers' range. Instead, it's 2nd and 10, 48 seconds left. Enunwa in motion. Patriots are in a dime. McCown from the gun. McCown will throw it. A low pass is handled, and Herndon's got it, but the clock is rolling. Picks up 4 yards on the play, hit by Patrick Chung. We're down to 35 seconds to go. Jets trying to get organized here on a 3rd and 6. McCown hits his man, Jermaine Kearse, who slips away. And he's down inside the 40.
And plenty of time to get up to the line of scrimmage and spike the ball to stop the clock.
And that's what the Jets will do. McCown clocks it with 8 seconds remaining.
They have time for one more play to maybe throw an out route of some type to pick up 5-6 yards to get it even that much closer.
They're not going to try it. They're sending out Jason Myers now with 8 seconds to play.
Now, this is the magic number, right? 55 yards?
Yep. $55-yard attempt. Jets could have squeezed in one more play. Instead, they're going to trust Myers. On a 55-yarder, Myers leans into it, and he curls it through. We're tied at 10. He didn't get a whole lot of height on it.
That was a dramatic kick. It changed direction about 4 times. Good snap, good hold, but there's that line drive hooking between the uprights and just barely enough.
McCown likes it. All knotted up at 10 apiece. And Todd Bowles, can you will that one through? Yes. And it made it by that much. Kearse fought for extra yards on that catch that helped set up Myers for the 55-yard attempt. 3 seconds remain on the clock.
Yeah, broke the tackle and got just enough. See how important that move was to get that extra yard or 2.
Cordero Patterson is deep. Myers will put this one on the ground and roll it to the 19-yard line. Devlin takes a hit, and that is it for the first half here at MetLife. Patriots and the Jets knotted up at 10 apiece. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station. Getting ready for second half kickoff here at MetLife. Tied at 10. Let's check out the gain of the first half.
Just a tremendous effort by Jerome Kearse after this catch to spin away and pick up about 5 yards, and that was just enough for this 55-yarder to just squeeze over the bar to tie the ball game.
So knotted up at 10 apiece. Back here in the broadcast booth, Ian Eagle along with the Hall of Famer Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn down on the sidelines. New England certainly understood division rivalry. Jets always seem to play them tough here at home. If you're Bill Belichick, can't be thrilled with the sloppiness, the penalties, and the lack of production on third down as well.
Yeah, just 2 for 6 on third down, but those penalties killed their momentum, killed their rhythm, and it has prevented New England from getting anything offensively going. The rushing game for either side, not too good, but the 2 old quarterbacks, doing all right.
Yeah, Josh McCown has looked sharp out there. Didn't play well against Buffalo 2 weeks ago. Jets were off last week, but the offense has moved well. Sam Darnold sitting this one out with a left foot injury once again. Myers making that 55-yard field goal, and he puts himself in the record books. He's made 5 field goals of 55 yards or more this season. That's the most in a single season in NFL history. And he'll get this second half started, kicking off to New England. Patriots interaction at 7-3. They had it rolling. 6-game winning streak before losing in Tennessee 2 weeks ago. They could still earn the number 1 seed in the AFC with that Kansas City loss to Los Angeles. They're 1 game behind the Chiefs and own the tiebreaker after beating them earlier this season. The approach by Myers. Patterson is the deep man, and this one is over his head. The Patriots will have it at the 25. We send it downstairs to Evan Washburn.
Well, and let's start with Bill Belichick and those penalties. He said we certainly hurt ourselves with those, and that's pretty obvious. It was interesting, though, when he took back to the sideline here, he had a conversation with Sean Hockley and some of the other officials, kind of working through some things, trying to, I would imagine, get clarity. You know, Bill Belichick wants to know everything about the rules. And then for the New York Jets, Todd Bowles, he was really pleased, obviously, with that field goal. He feels like the underneath passing game has been critical offensively and generating pressure with just 4, guys.
All right, Ev, handoff to Michel to open up this third quarter. Breaks the tackle. Michel cuts it into Jets territory. Finally brought down at the 44 by Darryl Roberts, the former Patriot. 31-yard rip for Michel.
And it's just a simple blast play right up the middle, but watch the moves here as Michel continues to search for an open area. The double team by Tooney and Andrews gets him to the second level, and it's a perfect start for the Patriots on the ground across midfield.
So the first play of this second half, it's Michel gouging the Jets defense. Play fake. Brady underneath. The catch and curl by Philip Dorsett. 7 different receivers that Brady has worked the football to. Tremaine Johnson in coverage for New York.
And talking to Brady about Dorsett, he's got all the confidence in the world in him. He has 27 catches on the season now. And remember, he came over last year from Indianapolis. He was thought to be a viable deep threat.
2nd and 3. Brady, 187 yards through the air and a touchdown to Gronkowski. Running play, Michel stacked up as he crossed the 35. It's a 2-yard gain, and it's 3rd and short, hit by Adams along with Jordan Jenkins.
You see the reaction from Michel. He tripped over a leg that was right in the hole. He was thinking he had a lot more yardage.
So Michel heads to the sideline. On a 3rd and 1, James White sets up as a receiver. To the backfield for White. Patterson, jet sweep. Patterson makes a move and gets enough for a first down. Looked like the Jets had a chance at him. It was Leonard Williams, but then he got brought down by Avery Williamson for New York.
Now he's 230 pounds, and he's going to step right out of this tackle there of Leonard Williams and pick up the first down. Gronkowski with a key block on Adams, and what a battle that has been all afternoon.
Yeah, we asked Gronkowski about Adams. He said, high energy, young guy. He's willing to mix it up. He plays hard. You have to be physical with him. Gronk in motion, followed by Jenkins. Stutter step move by Michel. Good second effort as he's brought down following the 4-yard gain. Well, Todd Bowles on Jamal Adams, when we asked him about his young safety, he said he's a star. He's ferocious. He's a leader. He's got strong study habits, work habits. He is what we want on this team. That personality, that approach. 2nd down and 6 for New England. Brady gets rid of it quickly, hits Sony Michel for a first down. 8 yards on the catch and run. Jordan Jenkins, Georgia guy against a Georgia guy. Michel, and the running back year after year that Georgia seems to produce that's perfect for the National Football League. First down at the 20-yard line of New York. Shotgun, Brady, a give to White, redirects. James White with a late flag thrown as he took it inside the 15. Looks like this one's coming back. That would be 8 penalties against New England. Conversation with Mike Pennell.
Offense number 62, 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
It's Joe Tooney for New England. Well, 2014, University of Georgia, 3 future NFL running backs on the roster. Todd Gurley, Sony Michel, Nick Chubb. The trio combined for 32 touchdowns that year. It's a whole lot of talent.
They're still contributing touchdowns.
Yeah. And Georgia right in the thick of things in college football right now. They'll be in the SEC Championship on CBS. Gronkowski the catch. Hit by Jamal Adams, 7 yards through the air.
And that's what we were talking about earlier, is the play action opening up Gronkowski across the middle is the fake. And they're running the ball well on this drive. Drives the linebackers to the line of scrimmage. Avery Williamson took the bait, and Brady zeroing in on his big tight end.
The return of Gronkowski, 3 catches, 56 yards, and the only New England touchdown of the day. This is a 2nd and 10 for the Pats. Set up in the I formation for Michel. Sony Michel breaking tackles, working to the outside. Nearly enough for the first down. He got 9. It's now 3rd and 1 for the Pats.
It's almost as if they determined at halftime to come out and they're going to run the ball against this Jets defense. 9 plays on this drive, 6 of them for 52 yards on the ground, and already to the 11-yard line because of this offensive line, and Sony Michel getting it done.
3rd and 1, same formation. Didn't get there. Had to get to the 10-yard line and comes up short. So now what do? It's 4th and a little less than a yard. Patriots have an injured player. And it is Sony Michel.
Well, Mike Pennell made the tackle and bent him backwards.
The athletic training staff is on the field taking a look at Michel. He also took a hit from Williamson.
Ouch.
Took a shot to the head. Sony Michel now sitting upright. It was Williamson that delivered the big hit. 2nd man through after Pennell slowed him down. Michel is really slow getting up.
I remember the Patriots without Rex Burkhead.
He is eligible to return from IR on December the 2nd, the neck injury that Burkhead suffered earlier this season. Congratulations to him and his wife Danielle. Welcome to baby boy into the world. Rex Burkhead did. And Michel walking very gingerly. They're not deep in that area. It is Michel and James White and Patterson who will step in at running back when necessary. They're going to go for it. The spot placed them at the 11. It's 4th and 1 with Patterson now in there. Give it to him. Patterson has enough for the first down. Cordarrelle Patterson, not his natural position, and comes up big for the Pats.
He got a lot of help from number 47 here, Hollister. Hollister blocking, and then the leg drive of Patterson pulling away from Jenkins, but look at the job Hollister does to ensure the first down.
This drive has taken up more than 6 minutes of game action to start the 3rd quarter. 1st and goal, New England. Brady. Offline. He tossed it low. James White was covered by Avery Williamson. It's 2nd and goal.
They've tried the fade route to Gronkowski twice in the 2nd quarter. Jamal Adams doing a good job both times. That time Gronk was split out wide again and just ran a stop route. Brady went to White all the way.
Problems for New England this year have been in the 1st quarter and the 3rd quarter. They've been outscored 61-40 in the 3rd. Brady. Incomplete. White matched up with Darren Lee on the perimeter, and it's 3rd and goal.
A good job by Darren Lee on White. Remember, White has 6 touchdown receptions this year. Brady going to him on back-to-back plays, both incomplete.
It is the 14th play of the drive. Third and goal for New England. Patriots looking for the lead. Brady steps, end zone, too far for Gronkowski. Darren Lee was with him, and it's 4th down.
Well, it's rare that Brady gets this much time to throw that he doesn't find a receiver. So give the Jets credit a lot, the secondary a lot of credit. Working against Darren Lee is Gronkowski. Great job by Darren Lee.
You see the streak for Gostkowski. This is a 27-yarder. And he knocks it through, but a flag thrown at the 10.
Before the snap, false start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So that is 9 penalties for 90 yards. Danny Shelton called on the penalty. So back it up. Now a 32-yarder for Stephen Gostkowski. Cardona will snap it. Ryan Allen the holder. 32 yards away. He nails it. And the Patriots go in front 13-10. A long drive to start this second half. They have to settle for 3. Patriots go 15 plays, 61 yards. Took 6 minutes and 26 seconds off the clock. Gostkowski, the 32-yard field goal, and now New England in front 13-10 on the Jets.
You got to consider that a win for the Jets, keeping the Patriots out of the end zone after that long drive.
Patriots are 11-1 in their last 12 divisional games. As Gostkowski kicks it off, Andre Roberts, he'll grab it, but it's coming out to the 25. Saturday, 4 Eastern, the SEC Championship on CBS. Number 1 Alabama taking on 5th-ranked Georgia. It's a rematch of last year's national championship. Kick off your day with a drive to Atlanta beginning at 2:30 Eastern, followed by College Football Today here on CBS. First possession of the Jets in this third quarter. Now trailing by 3. And the Jets have 16 rushing yards on the day. Toss to the outside, brought in by Robbie Anderson. It's good enough for a first down, 15 yards for New York.
Really good read by McCown. Got that ball out quickly. Anderson, the speed guy for the Jets, given a lot of respect on the corner that time.
When we asked McCown about the game plan going against New England, he said they're playing a lot of man coverage. You have to run the ball effectively against them. Watch that Tennessee tape. They were able to do it. A lot of 2 tight ends, inside zone run game, but that's not how it's played out for New York. Motion man is Cannon. They'll try to run it with McGuire. And he stacked up, 3-yard pickup for the Jets.
You look at the personnel that the Patriots have on the field. They have 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs. So you would think you could run the ball effectively against that type of defensive scheme.
2nd and 7 now with 7.5 to go in the third quarter. Isaiah Crowell is the single setback. McCown, a deep drop. McCown looks, he flips it to Crowell. Not enough for a first down, but a good gain for New York, setting up 3rd and short. Flowers put the heat on Josh McCown, and he got rid of it for 6 yards.
Well, he held on to it as long as he could. Flowers crashing in on him, but the job that Crowell does after the catch, so smart to just get what you can get straight up the field, not try to go wide. That brings up a 3rd and less than a yard.
McCown is now 17 of 24, 200 yards, the touchdown, and the pick. On 3rd and 1, they're going to trust Crowell. And he comes through. Crowell works the sideline, a first down inside the 40. Hit by Devin McCourty. It's a 12-yard pickup.
Spencer Long, number 61, coming on the pull here, gets him around the corner with that pancake block on McCourty. Set up well by Crowell.
And the longest run of the day for Crowell. Line of scrimmage is now the 39. 6 minutes to go in the third. Motion Manny Nunwa. McCown looks, slings it downfield, incomplete as Herndon took a shot from Chung. 2nd and 10.
Now that's a case of a rookie receiver just kind of running through a zone coverage. McCown expecting Herndon to just settle down here as he was fading away in the pocket, but there's the ball thrown between defenders where he expected Herndon to be.
Elijah McGuire now checks in for New York. McGuire set out most of the season with a broken foot. Play fake. McCown steps up. McCown uncorks a deep one. And it's too far for Enunwa. Clean coverage from Gilmore, or was it?
No, it was not. They're going to call Gilmore for holding.
Before the pass was thrown, holding. Defense number 24. It's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Flag came down at the 10-yard line. Gilmore was looking around for an explanation. That is 10 penalties against New England. And it gives the Jets a first down at the Patriots 34.
Now that's the key. It's another first down for the Jets as this is their opening drive of the second half, looking to answer the Patriots' long drive that resulted in just a field goal.
New England leads at 13-10. Jets are driving. McCown, bootleg. Knocked down. Kyle Van Noy. 6'3" Van Noy goes airborne.
Really a nice play by Van Noy. His second pass defense this season. Good hops there.
Now it's 2nd and 10 for New York. They'll set up Kearse, Anderson, and Enunwa bunched to one side. Shotgun. McCown, rush coming. A floater over the head of Crowell with Hightower looking to get to the QB. NFL Today update. Let's send it to New York. JB and Nate.
You said that. And there's Tyler Lockett right here on the deep pivot route. He gets in the end zone for the 12-yard TD. That right there is a touchdown. They would mark it at the 1, but the Carolina Panthers, they're down. Seattle wins 17-13.
Ian Phil Simms had me distracted. Back to Ian Eagle.
That's all right. Phil's got a easy commute home. Jersey guy. 3rd and 10. McCown stepping up. McCown will run. The 39-year-old has enough.
Well, he knew he was going to be short if he slid, so he did his best John Elway imitation. Man-to-man coverage. Once he breaks the pocket, there's nobody there for him, but it's still a long way to go for the 39-year-old. And the helicopter for the first down.
Josh McCown keeps this drive alive. Sam Darnold looking on. And the Jets in business at the New England 24-yard line. Under 5 minutes to go in the third. Running play. McGuire runs into a crowd for a gain of 4. Brought down to the 20-yard line by Kyle Van Noy. So the Jets lost Bilal Powell to a neck injury. The timing was such that McGuire was about ready to come back from that broken foot. They had worked Trenton Cannon, the rookie out of Virginia State, in just a bit, but it's been McGuire's job as the second back behind Crowell. 10th play of the drive. Jets have been balanced here. 2nd and 6 from the New England 20-yard line. McCown, shotgun. McCown tries to get rid of it. He was being drilled by Van Noy.
But McCown knew exactly where Crowell was going to be, so that's where he directed that pass.
And it's incomplete.
But the pressure last couple of times has been getting through, and it's been the linebackers, Hightower, and this time Van Noy. But you can see Crowell in the neighborhood for this throwaway by McCown.
Patriots are bringing the heat. Linebackers blitzing. And now McCown and the Jets face a 3rd and 6 at the New England 20. Dime package for the Patriots. Protection holds up. McCown. Too high for Kearse. Incomplete. Devin McCourty there stride for stride defensively. His former high school, St. Joseph's, won the state title on this field last night, knocking off Bergen Catholic.
And that was a good throwaway by McCown because of that coverage by Devin McCourty.
It'll be a 38-yard attempt here for Myers. Looking to tie this one up. Made one from 55 yards away before we hit the halftime break. 38-yarder. He's got it. 13 apiece with an even 4 minutes to play. 3rd quarter here at MetLife Stadium.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by KFC's new Chicken and Waffles, the most delicious union of all time, limited time only. The Home Depot, more saving, more doing. And by Honda. Hurry into the Happy Honda Days sales event today.
Tonight on CBS, a helping hand is heaven sent in a new episode of God Friended Me. That's tonight after 60 Minutes, only CBS. Jets have tied this one up 13-13, 4 minutes to go in the 3rd. Cordero Patterson is deep for New England. Patterson, 6 career kickoff returns for touchdowns. This will not be number 7. Over his head.
Well, on the undercard today, it's been Gronkowski against Adams. Adams doing a good job on this fade route, and then comes up quickly to stop Gronkowski after a short gain. Gronk has 3 catches for 56 yards in the game, 1 touchdown, but his 34-yard touchdown was not against Adams, it was against his own coverage.
Patriots have 322 yards of offense. Gronkowski has been targeted 7 times. Keeping an eye on the running back situation. James White is in. Remember, Michelle went down on the previous drive for the Pats. Brady, play fake. Caught by Hogan. Big play downfield into New York territory. 27 yards. Check in with Evan Washburn.
Yeah, and you mentioned Sony Michel. He came off in a lot of pain. It was his lower and mid-back was the area of concern. That's what they were working on. They put some ointment on it, some massaging, and then some heated pad. Now, he has his helmet. He's on the sideline. I was told they're not going to update his injury, so we'll just have to keep an eye on whether or not he can get back in this game.
Now he's standing next to fullback James Devlin. Right now, it's White who's in there. Hogan, 2nd catch of the day, covering 47 yards for the Patriots. Give it to White. He's got a lane. White to the outside. Out of bounds. Joe Thuney, a key block. New England has changed its philosophy in this 2nd half.
Watch Thuney pulling here, and good blocks here by Gronkowski and by Cannon. And White is shot out of that cannon.
+20 yard plays today. New England has had 7 of them. White now with 45 yards rushing. Just 1 catch. First down for the Patriots at the New York 21. It's White. Hit from behind by Anderson, the former Colt. Makes the play for New York. We tick down to just over 2 minutes to go in the 3rd. Patriots and Jets tied at 13.
Now the execution offensively for the Patriots been a lot better in the 2nd half. Great balance running and passing.
Gronkowski sets up on the outside. Brady looks in that direction. Pump and throw underneath. Edelman. Julian Edelman makes a move. Works his way in for the touchdown. Catch and run by Edelman. And the Patriots take the lead.
Edelman wide open because of the attention that Gronkowski gets on the outside. And then look at this effort by Edelman. flies over the top of Adams before Claiborne can knock him down. Good job also by Gronkowski, occupying Claiborne just long enough for Edelman to get inside the pylon.
And Dan, that's part of the presence. Gronkowski,
Absolutely.
you have to account for him. Gostkowski, the extra point. Patriots go in front 20-13. 4 plays, 75 yards. Julian Edelman, the Patriots make it look easy. And they're back in front in Jersey. Looking at the numbers on Tom Brady, inside the numbers on the field. First 10 games, 8 touchdowns, 7 picks. Work in the middle. You get Gronk back and maybe things change. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions for Brady. The kick from Gostkowski booming through the back of the end zone. So the Jets have it at the 25. All right, let's take a look back. 2 years ago, this is still fresh in people's minds. Super Bowl 51, Patriots down 28-3, an epic comeback. Brady to Amendola, under a minute left. James White runs it in, 1-yard touchdown, successful 2-point conversion. And the first possession of overtime, White seals the deal. 5th Super Bowl in franchise history. Of course, this year, Super Bowl 53 in Atlanta, February 3rd, right here on CBS. Jets now trail the Patriots 20-13 with a minute 52 to go in the third. Herndon, the motion man, running play to Crowell. Up the middle, he was hit by Roberts. A gain of 5 for New York.
And defensively in the second half, Patriots have been really effective with their blitz packages, putting pressure on McCown. McCown has missed his last 5 passes because of that pressure, mainly from Hightower and Van Noy.
So McCown is now 17 of 29, 200 yards, a touchdown, and that interception by Gilmore late in the second quarter. 1:18 to go here in the third. Crowell. Nice decision by Crowell, and accelerates for the first down. He waited, the hole developed, and he shoots through it for 7.
Yeah, waiting for his guard, Spencer Long, here to come over here. But there's the patience as he sets this block up perfectly. Nice job by Long taking care of Roberts, but the footwork as he almost slips out, but has enough on that sharp cut to pick up the first down.
6 carries, 30 yards. McCown wants to throw it. He will. On time to Herndon. Herndon doesn't go down on initial contact from McCourty. And the rookie out of Miami, major athlete, very good hands.
Well, this is the promise of Herndon. The yardage after the catch, and then refusing to go down with a hit from McCourty.
He was a high school wide receiver, and his stride is like a wide receiver stride.
6 catches for 51 yards for him. Leading Jet receiver.
Jets will get a playoff before the end of the third. It's Crowell trying to work that short side, and a flag thrown, hit by Kyle Van Noy. Patriots indicating it's against the Jets. Time has run out in the third quarter.
Holding. Offense number 78. It's a 10-yard penalty. Replay first down. This is the end of the third quarter.
It is Jonathan Harrison who has stepped in at center, with Long replacing James Carpenter at left guard. Welcome back to East Rutherford. After this message and a word from your local station, you're watching the NFL on CBS, the home of Super Bowl 53. The Patriots have racked up nearly 400 yards of offense through 3 quarters of action. They got a 20-13 lead on the Jets. We start the fourth quarter. Jets with a 1st and 20 after the penalty. McCown is offline, looking for Elijah McGuire. Incomplete. Coverage from Dante Hightower of New England. So McCown is now 18 of 31 for 221 yards, a touchdown and a pick. 2 touchdowns for Brady, 250 yards. 1 to Gronkowski, and then the other one to Edelman that's put New England in front. Brady and McDaniels chatting on the sideline as they normally do. McDaniels, according to our own Jason La Canfora, will be a legitimate candidate for head coaching vacancies around the NFL once again. McCown tip ball is grabbed by Kearse. He's down at the 46. Adam Butler got a piece.
Adam Butler is 6'5", and he's wondering why he didn't pick this one off. He dropped back into coverage, went right through his hands. Look at the concentration by Kearse as he had to come back down to the earth and then jump again to make the grab.
Van Noy was right there, crowding Kearse. And it sets up 3rd and 14 for New York. Patriots are in the dime. McCown with a deep drop. Looks. McCown is sacked. A lot of Patriot fans here. The reaction from the crowd. Patriots travel very well on the road. Dietrich Wise with a sack.
Yeah, it's 4.5 now for him on the season. But McCown just had nowhere to go. Nobody open in the secondary. Nobody winning the man-on-man battles. McCown suffers his first sack of the afternoon.
Yeah, we asked Brady about playing here at MetLife. He said it's not nearly as loud as the old place. It was deafening there. He said this is a nice stadium, but doesn't have the same feel. First sack of the day for either squad. Edwards trying to place this one. They'll take a bounce at the 6. It hangs in there, and the Jets can't down it. Cannon had a shot at it. 53-yard punt, but a net of 33. The Patriots will have the football now, playing with a lead on the road.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Dell and the XPS 13 with Dell Cinema.
Good news for the Patriots. Sony Michel back on the field after suffering that injury in the 3rd quarter. Patriots, 18 straight wins when leading entering the 4th. And here's Michel. The cutback by Michel into Jets territory down at the 47. Devlin blocking for him. 33 yards and now 125 on the day for Michel.
Exactly the way they started the second half, with Devlin leading the way on the basic blast play. A little bit of a counter. He kicks out on the linebacker Lee and then into the secondary. And good for 33 yards goes Michel. Now over 100 yards rushing with 125 on 17 carries.
Well, we gave you the New England stats when entering the 4th with a lead, 18 straight wins. The Jets, when entering the 4th, trailing 17 straight losses. Brady on first down. Brady dials up the deep ball. Incomplete. Patterson with Tremaine Johnson. And Patterson kept going. The ball didn't quite get there.
Yeah, the officials letting them play down the field. Both pushing at each other. Johnson a little bit late locating this ball, or he might have had the interception. He had position on the ball.
Ooh. Also had some jersey. Second and 10 for New England. Fake it. Brady steps. Incomplete. He threw it low to James White. Henry Anderson put a little pressure on Tom Brady. It's 3rd and 10.
And the last 3 times Brady has tried to throw a short pass to the left side of the field, he's been incomplete. The pressure there that time forced that low throw, but he's having some type of difficulty when throwing to his left.
3rd and 10 for New England. Pivotal play. Gronkowski is off the line on a 3rd and long. Rush is coming. Brady steps up. Brady delivers to the sideline. Hauled in by Gordon. First down at the 30-yard line. 17 yards as Brady with a BB.
And he's first to go over and congratulate Gordon because of this catch. Woo. Tremendous hands grabs this ball and secures it as he hits the ground and rolls over.
Acquired for a 5th-round pick when things went south in Cleveland. And Gordon has made no news off the field. He's going about his business and fitting in. Jets trying to get the jump.
I think that move by Adams may have forced the Patriots to come out of a stance.
Encroachment. Defense number 48. It's a 5-yard penalty. First down.
They get Jenkins.
It's almost as if Adams pushed Jenkins across the line.
So that's 6 penalties, 40 yards against New York. 10 penalties, 95 yards on New England. First and 5 for the Pats. 11.5 left in the 4th and counting. Patterson is in at running back. They give it to him. Patterson. He got twisted around, hit high, hit low, 1-yard pickup. Henry Anderson in there to bring down Patterson. So second down for the Patriots. Patterson has carried the ball 4 times for 10 yards. White 7 carries for 46. Michel 17 for 125.
And the amazing thing, James White only has 1 catch for 5 yards. Came in with 66.
But nearly 200 yards on the ground for New England. Michel back in there. He gets the call on 2nd and 4. And Michel has the first down.
A tremendous push by that offensive line. Shaq Mason getting back in the lineup at right guard. Marcus Cannon. Look at the double team that they have right there. Cannon comes off on the linebacker Williamson. And it's an easy first down pickup.
Now, we asked Bill Belichick about Shaq Mason. He said he's short, and that works to his advantage. Great balance and leverage. He's like a wrestler.
Hey, alert, alert! Hey.
First down from the Jets 19. Play fake. Brady guns it. Caught by Edelman inside the 5.
Now we got a penalty.
Flag is down at the 29.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 92. That penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down.
It is Leonard Williams. Yep. Got him late.
Really late.
Dan, you know what's amazing? Just doing research on this game, there is not a player on the Jets that has registered a sack or an interception against Tom Brady. Collectively, whether it's in a Jet uniform or elsewhere.
That's deep diving, partner.
7-point lead for New England. Patriots trying to add to it. Going up top. Patterson took a big shot before he hit the goal line.
Well, Williams is the Jets' leading tackler with over 100 so far. Patterson with a big mistake here, trying to go up top. They're a little bit late on the get-off there. That's a perfect catch there that time by Avery Williamson.
Patterson got stamped. 2nd and goal inside the 1. 9th play of the drive. Hand it to Michel. Michel dives. He's got it. Touchdown. Patriots. New England extends the lead.
It's ruled a touchdown on the field, so it will be reviewed. Where's the ball when he's down? I got to believe he's a little bit short. His knee was down before he could reach across the goal line.
Now that'll be the question, whether or not that knee was down and whether or not they have enough evidence to determine that.
Yeah, that left knee is down well before he breaks the plane.
The ruling on the field of a touchdown is under further review.
Tremendous
Timeout.
effort by Lee and Williamson.
So as of now, it's a touchdown on the board for New England. They will take a look as we step aside.
When the runner's right knee was down, the ball was at the half-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and goal from the half-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 9:03. Thank you.
You're welcome. The touchdown is off the board. And the Patriots will have it 3rd and goal inside the 1.
And this is where Brady's been so good with the quarterback sneak. The Jets have lined up right over the center to prevent it, but they're really low. And Tom is good at getting some elevation and reaching the ball across the goal line. But they're ready for it.
3rd and goal. On a give. Michel. Did he get there? He did! Touchdown, Patriots! Jets are making the case that he came up short.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown.
Avery Williamson.
Yeah, he's in. Broke the plane.
No doubt.
Great effort by Sony Michel. And Williamson trying to keep him out of the end zone.
Michel just enough. The fact that he's even in there in the 4th quarter after dealing with an injury in the 3rd is amazing.
Injury to his back, and where he wobbled off the field with help from the trainers. And now in the end zone.
It's been confirmed. Gostkowski the extra point. Michel breaks the plane and puts New England in front 27-13. CBS's Super Bowl season continues next. Most of you will see Pittsburgh riding a 6-game winning streak take on Denver, while others will see Miami battle Indianapolis. Second half of the doubleheader coming up. Pittsburgh at Denver, Miami, Indy. On your home for Super Bowl 53.
And the Patriots offensively just went back to the basics. Running the I formation blast plays and then coming back with play action off that same type of action, finding receivers over the middle. And the offensive line just overpowering these Jet defenders. Sony Michel having a huge day.
20 carries, 131 yards, and a touchdown for Michel. What a difference he makes to this New England offense, having Gronkowski back. Not just the fact that he caught a touchdown, but the threat when he's out there on the field and opening up other opportunities for Edelman and Hogan and Gordon. Just under 9 minutes to play here in the 4th. It's now 27-13 New England. Jets have dropped 4 in a row, losses to Minnesota, Chicago, Miami, and Buffalo. Roberts is not going to take it out of the end zone, or is he? Little delay and fakes out New England special teams. It's coming out to the 25.
Outstanding day for the Patriots on the ground. They've had 3 second-half drives, and it's been primarily on the ground where they've done their damage. 15 plays on their first drive resulted in a field goal. In their last 2 drives, 4 plays and 10 plays, they cashed in with touchdowns.
Well, White has chipped in, Patterson a little bit, but it's been mostly Sony Michel. McCown to throw it on 1st down. Underneath to McGuire. Hit by Kyle Van Noy. We check in with Evan.
Guys, one final note on that. It's what it's done for New England on 1st down. That's been a struggle this year. They rank 18th in the NFL in yards gained on 1st down. They were 1st last year, and it allows them to do so much more, obviously making things easier on 3rd. And that's something Tom Brady brought up last night in what Sony Michel can bring.
And also add into the fact the Jets defense has not created any takeaways. Cannon gets hit hard by Patrick Chung. It's 4 straight games without a takeaway for the Jets. If they don't have a takeaway today, it'll be a new franchise record. 5 consecutive without forcing a turnover. And now the Jets face a 3rd and 6.
Yeah, the Jets have forced 15 fumbles this year, but only recovered 5 of them. So that all adds to that dire stat for New York.
The wins this season over Detroit, Denver, and Indianapolis. McCown forced to throw it off his back foot. Nice effort by Anderson, but the pass was out of his reach. Stephon Gilmore.
It looked like Anderson could get one hand on it, but the coverage by Gilmore pulling his left arm away prevents this catch. Watch Gilmore right here, arriving a little early. The officials letting him play 50 yards down the field.
Another punt for Lachlan Edwards. And another opportunity for Julian Edelman, standing at the New England 20-yard line. Jets hovering right around the number that they put up in their losses this season. Scoring just 13 points today. Edelman with a flag down. Edelman is dropped as he crossed the 40-yard line.
They're going to get an illegal block in the back against Trumaine Johnson. And that's by Melifonwu.
Second-year safety from UConn, former Oakland Raider. Former second-round pick as well. Missed his rookie year with a hip injury.
During the kick, holding, return team number 22. A penalty is 10 yards from the end of the kick. First down, timeout.
Obi Melifonwu called for it. Back it up for the Patriots. They've got a comfortable lead with 7:27 to play.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Lowe's. Buffalo Wild Wings. Try our game day menu. And by Ram Trucks. Built to serve.
Jets in jeopardy of losing their 5th straight game. New England 27, Jets 13. Give it to Michel. Breaks a couple of tackles. And hit by Williamson and Lee. That's been the combination for New York. Well, the Patriots just clean up in the AFC East. Last 12 division games, 11-1. Scoring difference is plus 209. You can go back to when Tom Brady became the quarterback. They are 78-19 in the AFC East.
Yeah, Bill likes that stat.
And the stability. With Belichick, obviously McDaniels left for a couple of years. Head coach of the Denver Broncos. 2nd and 8. Brady on a toss, caught by Patterson. And the Jets bring him down. Trumaine Johnson working the outside. So it'll be 3rd down for New England. Well, second half possessions. And really, Dan, nothing fancy about what the Patriots have done.
No, it's just I formation, bringing in the big fullback James Devlin to lead block. And how about the job they're doing up front with that offensive line? Just overpowering the Jets, but they're averaging over 5.5 yards a rush this afternoon.
189 rushing yards for the Pats. 3rd and 9. Brady. Short one to Gordon and short of the first down. Hit by Jamal Adams. And the Patriots will punt with 5:50 left.
You wonder why the Jets aren't using their timeouts. You're going to get the ball back here. They would have good field position and perhaps a big return.
Andre Roberts, the return man for New York. 3 punt returns for touchdowns in his career. Allen will exhaust the play clock. Kick towards the sideline. Roberts can't stay in bounds. And the Jets will have it at the 38. But they're down by 14. 46-yard punt. 5:15 to play. Todd Bowles, in his 4th year as the head coach of the Jets, this season was all about developing Sam Darnold and making some decisions with maybe $100 million in free agent money available, running play to Elijah McGuire. So the decision that the organization has to make with a young quarterback, what coaching staff do you want in place to bring along the young QB and grow with the young QB, who's the face of the franchise? McCown stepping in for Darnold today, throws to the sticks, caught by Herndon, hit by Devin McCourty, enough for a first down. JB, Nate, NFL Today update.
A nail biter in Carolina.
That's right, 4th and 3. Russell Wilson, who is he looking for? David Moore, 35-yard touchdown. And that is going to tie the game up. That's his 5th touchdown of the season, 27-27.
Back to Ian.
All right, guys, McCown in some trouble, and McCown is slammed down by Flowers. A sack at the 45.
Now Flowers now picks up his 3rd and a half sack on the year. And this one, he gets his money's worth. He gets to spin McCown all the way to the ground.
2nd and 15 for the Jets. We'll hit the 4-minute mark of the 4th. McCown steps up and connects with Jordan Leggett, another tight end for New York. 16 yards on the pass play and a first down for the Jets.
And McCown took another shot. Slow to get up after that collision in the backfield. Never saw the completion.
Line of scrimmage is now the 39. McCown, shotgun, short throw to Robbie Anderson. We asked Sam Darnold about watching from the sidelines in the Buffalo game, and that's exactly what he's doing here today. And he said, look, I got some mental reps, gained some knowledge. The biggest key was watching how Josh functioned and interacted with his teammates. His communication is so efficient, as Darnold put it. McCown will throw it away over the head of Trenton Cannon. And McCown has basically been a quarterback coach as well as the backup quarterback for New York.
Well, and the fact that Darnold has had his ups and downs really should be no surprise to anyone. You look at the other top picks at quarterback this season, they've all gone through it. And it's just part of the learning process. But he is lucky to have McCown to bounce things off of and to watch. And he's watching now McCown taking a beating on this drive.
Darnold leads the NFL with 14 interceptions. McCown on a 1-year, $10 million deal. McCown with a strong throw to Curse. He's out of bounds across the 25. Covers 8 yards and a first down for New York. J.C. Jackson in coverage for New England.
At this point on the field, they've got to start putting the ball into the end zone. These short passes are just taking too much time off the clock, and exactly what the Patriots want to see happen.
3 minutes to play. 27-13 New England. Patriots trying to improve to 8-3 and keep the pressure on Kansas City in the AFC. McCown chased down and tosses it away. Deron Harmon, the one putting the heat on McCown. Stay tuned. NFL Today update delivered by Pizza Hut, time permitting. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cowher. All the latest NFL scores and highlights. 2nd and 10.
I think the turkeys are done.
Yeah, well, checking our email. Line of scrimmage is the 24.
Andy 53. Andy 50. Red 80.
They go trips to the one side. McCown, pump fake, steps up. McCown will run. He's got a first down for the Jets. Those legs still move. Josh McCown, 12 yards. He's going to be exhausted when this one is over.
And he is 39 years old. He'll be in the whirlpool tomorrow.
It's a quarterback family. Randy, Luke, McCown, end zone, broken up. Anderson hit by Gilmore.
This was really a good throw, too. McCown threw it nice and low on the line drive throw. Gilmore closing quickly And he hits Anderson right in the back as the ball is hitting him in the front. Tremendous coverage by Gilmore.
Perfectly timed. And McCown, he's lumbering a bit. Second down with 2:20 to go. McCown. Catch made, trying to break away, Leggett.
They should hustle the line of scrimmage and try to get another playoff.
Down to 2:05. Can they get the playoff before the 2-minute warning? Doesn't look that way.
I think McCown needs a breather.
Yep, agreed. McCown will try to catch his breath. His team is down by 14. 2 minutes to play in the fourth.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. The best unlimited is on Verizon, America's most awarded network. And by Walt Disney World Resort.
The Jets have not scored in the last 2 minutes of a game this season. No points. They're trying to stay alive here, trailing 27-13. A 3rd and 2 for New York. McCown, a moving pocket. Throws on the run. Incomplete. Curse the intended target. J.C. Jackson was over there for New England. Now it's 4th down.
Really good coverage by Jackson. He prevents the fade route, and now he's all over the out route of Curse. If that ball had been on target, J.C. Jackson might have picked it off.
4th down for New York.
Hey, gotta go.
Shotgun, McCown. McCown darts it. End zone. It's dropped by Curse. The Jets come up empty. Jason McCourty makes the play, the savvy vet.
Good throw by McCown. Went right through the hands of Curse. Drop touchdown. Till by the reaction of Curse on the ground. McCourty gets his hands right on that right bicep to pull it away. And McCown will take another shot.
Yeah, we asked McCourty about playing with his twin brother Devin. He said it's been cool. They dreamed about it. They talked about it when both guys entered the league out of Rutgers, and the fact that they're doing it at this stage of their respective careers. They're from Nyack, New York, and then went to high school in Montvale, New Jersey. It's a handoff to White going up the gut with 1:47 and a timeout taken. Yep, there it is. St. Joseph Regional High School. Devin and Jason McCourty, 2005 graduates, standouts in both football and basketball. Both went on to star at Rutgers. And, you know, here's one thing for Jason. He's never been to the playoffs. All the years in the NFL in his 10th season, a chance to finally do that as a member of the Patriots. He said the transition hasn't been that hard because he knew so much about the Patriots way. He's very close with his twin and has heard about it through the years. He's met the guys. He knows the deal. 2nd and 7. Running play for White, and off he goes. The Patriots crack 200 yards rushing on the day.
That's how important having Shaq Mason back in the game. Here's a double team, and right behind it comes James White. They take care of the nose tackle, and a great job with the vision of White to get to that second level quickly after a 24-yard gain. Yep, 1st down.
First time the Patriots have done that, over 200 yards since Jonas Gray did it himself with 2:01 against the Colts. Back in 2014, the Patriots had 246 as a team. A jump and a flag down.
And again, it's been a throwback offense. Tight end,
Encroachment.
fullback,
Defense.
I formation,
5-yard penalty. 1st down.
power plays, cutbacks, all very effective for the Pats.
So 1:02 on the clock. The Patriots 27, the Jets 13. The executive producers of the NFL on CBS, Sean McManus and Harold Bryant. The president of CBS Sports, David Burson. Today's game produced by Mark Wolf, directed by Bob Fishman. Vice president of remote production of CBS Sports, Steve Karasik. Vice president of studio production for CBS Sports, Tyler Hale. NFL Today produced by Drew Kaliski, directed by Bob Matina. Creative director of CBS Sports, Peter Radovich Jr. The associate directors of today's game, Brian Jagoda, Ade Ellis. Broadcast associates, Dan Obermuller and Ryan Pavlicek. Technical manager, Rick Godwin. Technical director, Terry Rosich. Audio supervisor, Lee Fannerstill. Stats provided by David Freed and Matt Jenkins. Our spotter, Butch Baird.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and thanks for having such great talent helping us out up here in the booth.
The Patriots hoping to start a new winning streak. They get it done on the road in New Jersey, 27-13. New England knocks off New York. So the Patriots improved to 8-3 with the win. Kansas City at 9-2. Pittsburgh on a roll at 7-2-1. Houston has been red hot. Right now the wild cards are the Chargers and the Ravens. It's a series that's been controlled by New England. They are 13-2 in the last 15 meetings with New York, and the Jets fall to 3-8. That's 5 straight losses. For Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn, the rest of our crew, Ian Eagle saying so long from East Rutherford. Right now it's time for the NFL Today update. It's delivered by Pizza Hut. We send it to New York across the river and James Brown.